There's a mailbox somewhere in the city which can solve your problems. Which city? That depends on who you ask. There may even be more than one. Who knows? Anyway, this mailbox isn't emptied anymore. The mail service has completely forgotten about it. But it clings on. It's located in some relatively unlikely place so you won't spot it immediately. Mail you put inside it won't go anywhere. But the box is special. Write a letter about your most pressing problems to the persons in charge of dealing with it. Write to your significant other, your boss, the IRS, and get it all off your chest. Ride yourself into deep shit with that letter. You'll see that the problem will dissolve soon, in some way you hadn't thought likely. The snag, of course, is that you really can't be sure whether you have found the right mailbox until you try it. And if you haven't, things are going to get much worse once your letter gets delivered. The hum is what people have called a phenomenon that occurs in some places in the world. It is a low-frequency humming noise that sounds not unlike a distant running engine. However, the source can never be found. Even with microphones and all sorts of audio technology, the source has yet to be found. The most popular location to hear the hum is in New Mexico. Only some can hear it as well as feel it. They can hear it throughout the day and into the night. The hum does not stop. It has never stopped. Many people hear the hum only, or much more, inside buildings as compared with outdoors. Many hum sufferers can also perceive vibrations that can only be felt through the body. Earplugs are reported as not decreasing the hum. The hum is often perceived more intensely during the night. Common coincidences include a lack of sleep, as the hum can keep some sufferers awake or wake them in the middle of the night. During the last decade, the hum phenomenon has been reported in many other cities and regions in North America and Europe, and in some other regions of the world. What will happen when the hum reaches you? Will you hear it at night when you don't expect it? Maybe it's already there. There is a chance that while on a railway journey across country you will pass a darkened station. The platform will look as if it's been deserted for years. The train will have to slow down due to the condition of the tracks, but it will not stop. There are some conductors who will go much faster than they should just to get past the station, causing the train to feel as if it will shake apart. If you ask one of the personnel on the train about the station, they will tell you not to worry about it and go back to your seat. If you ask a second time, you and all your things will be unceremoniously dumped at the next station, whether it's your destination or not. There you can wait for as much as a day for another train to come by. There have been a few curious folks who have made the 5-mile-long walk down along the side of the tracks to see this abandoned station for themselves. No one knows what happens when they get there. Some are never seen or heard from again, and others jump onto the tracks in the path of the next oncoming train. The only thing of any interest ever to happen along those tracks was back in the early 1900s, when a train headed west derailed near that abandoned station, killing 61 people on board and injuring others. The incident was blamed on conductor error and on the fact that the rails were misaligned due to shifting of the ground after a heavy rainstorm. There is no known connection between the derailment over 100 years ago and the events that surround the area today. In some television markets, people get two different versions of the same channel. This is usually caused by affiliates being nearby. For example, while living in New Jersey, receiving the ABC affiliate from both New York City and Philadelphia, or living in Southern California and getting both the Los Angeles and San Diego stations. For the most part, these appear to be the same channel in all, except local news and some daytime programming, with the exception that one is actually closer and more clear than the other. These channels, in reality, should not occur. Television markets are set up to focus around one city, and offering two different versions of the same channel in one market can split viewership in the ever-competitive ratings race. If you are to watch the channel with the worst reception from the city that is further away, you'll start to notice that the news reports major events that never occurred, on people that aren't real, on technology that shouldn't exist. The ads are for products that you've never heard of. The conspiracy theorists think that these television stations belong to an alternate world. They point to the fact that the news tends to be getting worse over there, more separate from our own. They are reporting of looking into an alternate world and invading it for their own. Just pray they aren't talking about us. A strange ringtone plays on your cell phone. You reach for it, but whoever it was must have hung up. A wrong number, maybe. You look at the phone anyway. You've missed a call. You listen to it. When you put the phone to your ear, suddenly you hear a scream of pain. You toss the cell across the room, but you can still hear it. When you finally pick the phone up, you see who the call was from. You realize whose voice it was. It was yours. Deep beneath the New Mexican desert, there is a lost city in a dark cavern. Many have journeyed to the deep city. Some have returned, some have not, completely vanished without a trace. As for what happened to the builders of the city, no one knows for sure. What I do know is that I have walked the rubble-strewn streets and have heard the cries in the dark, inhumane shrieks. I have no clue what these creatures that make these sounds are. I've been told that pictograms in the cavern suggest they were slaves to the builders, but I like to say no one knows. Eventually the random cries in the dark began to take a toll on me, and I fled the cavern, returned home, and until this day only told a few close friends of what I'd seen and heard. Now as I walk down the darkened streets of my own hometown, I've begun to hear the creatures again. They are calling me back to the cavern. The time is coming. It's 3 a.m. and you've been up all night on a horror binge. You've watched your favorite horror movies, read your favorite scary stories, and even attempted the old Bloody Mary trick in your mirror. You stretch and yawn, deciding now is about the time to hit the hay, so you move it into your bedroom and lay down to sleep. After a while, however, you realize that you can't get the images of some of the fictional creatures you saw on TV out of your head. Man, I'm gonna hate myself for this in the morning, you say aloud as you flick on your bedroom lamp, knowing that having a nightlight used to help get rid of your nightmares as a little kid. Within minutes, you're close to sleep, snuggled up comfortably under the blankets with your eyes closed and more pleasant thoughts on your mind. That is, until you detect something moving in front of the light, casting a shadow over you. You blink, beginning to turn towards the lamp before a rotting hand grabs hold of your shoulder. Thanks for turning on the light. I wouldn't have been able to find you in that darkness. The images we see in the mirror are the pure incarnates of evil. They are only allowed to exist in the area reflected in the glass. To them, life is like a never-ending hell, rotting away in the same room day after day. The only refuge from this purgatory is death, and the only way for them to die, sad to say, is if you die. Fortunately, they are bound by a code. You are their master, and they must mirror your every movement and expression. To do otherwise would break an unbreakable law, unraveling the space-time continuum. However, there is a loophole, and it can only be triggered by you, the master. To force them into error is to free them from their contract. After you let them out of your view, you're on your own. Know this, when you watch them, they're watching you back. They're waiting, and they're thinking.
If you like what you heard, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you'd like to, you can follow me at Twitter. The handle is @FuzzyPantaloons, and I'll see you all next time.